Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And today we have a very wonderful guest, also a good friend of mine, and he's Dylan. Hello, Dylan.
Hi.
So Dylan is from Math Paradigm. And before I let him take over the floor and inspire all of you, is why we are doing this. It's because we want to provide a safe space for educators and where they can have breakthroughs and learn marketing techniques that is already working in the real world, as well as be inspired. So today I brought Dylan on to inspire all of you, because by looking at him, he has already inspired me. Dylan, okay, the floor is yours. Maybe just briefly introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, Dylan here, and I started math 5 years ago. So I think like many of you, I was a one-to-one tutor after national service, the usual one-to-one tutor where I moved and traveled to different houses. Then that's also when I started my university. So I studied in NTU. Back then, my major was in finance. So I wanted to be a private banker in a finance corporate. Yeah. But then at the side, I was also tutoring. So I was concurrently doing both things at one go. During an internship right back in the finance field, that's when I realized that's not something that I wanted to continue, because I was looking forward to the weekends to teach. So eventually, when I was about to graduate, I decided to start Paradigm. That was in 2020, which is the year of COVID. First 2 years, I was doing online. Then after it slowly grew. Originally, I didn't want to start a tuition center. Some of you maybe know my journey and not, but I wanted to build a co-study space for my students instead of going with the tuition center route. I was running online classes, right? So on the weekends, my students come to this space. Students come to this space where they study together from morning to night. Yeah, but I was spending a lot of money because co-working space. I was spending 4 to 1 one Saturday just for the students to come and study. And that's why eventually I met a few mentors and they told me that it's money when open a proper center and then you have 24/7 from Monday to Sunday.
45K, you can actually rent a good place already. And
you can rent to end of 2022, I found the first place at Gohill. Then eventually 2 years later, which is just in October last year, I opened my second place in Tampines. So that's like the journey summary of the progress over the past few years.
Got it. Yeah, maybe we can zoom a bit into, because I think it'd be nice for the educators here. Most of them are doing one-on-one or they are going to houses just like yours. Yeah, I think for you being a young friend, and I think I'm also amazed by the mindset shift. So what is some of the mindset shift from one-to-one to group? And then also, maybe you can also journey with us. Yeah, the different mindset shift along, because I think it's not just the technical part, but also a lot of insight that push you out of the comfort zone.
This is very important because just now John was talking about the importance of mentor. So if I didn't have a mentor, probably I would still be a one-to-one tutor, going classes to classes, houses to houses, right? But it was my mentor. Some of you might know Melvin and Josiah, that slowly pushed me to explore bigger classes, right? So as a result, I give an example, right? It took me 2 years to slowly transit from a one-to-one to 1-to-4, 1-to-8. So for some of you will feel like, what, it's very long or slow, depends on your perspective. But for my new tutors that join in, because some of them are private tutors, straight away in the first year, they are trained to teach 1-to-8. And then in the second year, they are trained 1-to-16. Yeah, but I didn't have the training back then because I need to navigate it myself. So it took a while, which is why who you follow, your mentors, or maybe even the environment that you are in actually shapes your thinking a lot. Because back then, as a young, like 25, 26 years old, that time, I haven't seen the world yet. So my mindset was still, I want to one better. I still want to give the full personal attention to that student. Then 1-to-2 took me a few weeks and months to, okay, let's try 1-to-2. Then 1-to-2 to 1-to-4 is another level. And then to 6, so it's every progression me like a month. So as a result, it stretched out to become like 2 years. Eventually, I start doing 1-to-8. People, their growth is way faster because maybe they come from MOE. They're like, oh, I think 1-to-20 is the best. So they immediately started with the 20 kids in one class. So their speed is faster. But I think for some of us here who are still private tutors, you really need to, there's mindset shift. I think both things are important, right? To acknowledge that a bigger class might be even better than a one-to-one class. And you need to know that for sure. Deep down in my heart. So in the past, I still did that. But now, as of right now, I know for a fact that a group class is way better than one-to-one. It's something that I suddenly believe in. And then Skillsets is how you engage your classroom. So you need to slowly upskill yourself in this aspect. Then that's where you can slowly grow in terms of your capability and your mindset to conduct things like this. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is there are 2 things that you must be on. One is the belief and one is the, I can see balloons rising. What? Okay. Anyway, belief and skill sets. Yeah, maybe we can go deeper, even deeper. But I think I also take this opportunity to really, I think from a very sincere heart, really learn from you. What are some of the beliefs that you have now? Maybe if you can put it in a word for us. How is a bigger class more beneficial than one-to-one?
Okay, my perspective back in one-to-one, right, is more of a consultative base. It means my students, especially the motivated one, right, they will come really prepared. Hey, teacher Dylan, I got these 10 questions, or I don't know how to do this homework. So my whole session is just answering their question. But I didn't reteach, or I didn't have an opportunity to reteach the whole syllabus from ground up. Okay, some of you are stronger in that because you have more experience, then maybe you do that for your students. But back then, a lot of times it's very consultative basis. So it worked very well for the strong students because they came in prepared and then they are just there to answer queries. 1 hour, 1.5 hours done. Okay, thank you. Bye. But for the very weak ones, if I realize that if I just do that, right, it doesn't help them much because I never reteach the whole thing from the beginning. Versus in a classroom setting, everything is planned already. So today we're going to learn this full chapter. So everything is built from outside of class. If they require any like consultation or one-to-one support, then that's where the one-to-one comes in. So I realized that the blend helps students to improve faster. But of course, the size of the class then that depends on the capability because some people feel that 1 to 4 is my max cap. Then you just stick to 4 first, you don't overstretch yourself. Some people feel that 8 is comfortable. So every one of us are at different stages, right? Some of you feel that 1 to 4 is just nice, 1 to 8 is just nice, 1 to 16, 1 to 20. In fact, I have JC lecturers that say 1 to 50. So there's no right or wrong. It's really how you see and measure your current abilities. But I think what we can strive to work towards is pushing ourselves a little more and always questioning how can we do even better year on year.
Nice. Okay, I think what you want to get a drink? Yeah. Okay, it's like teaching. We need to put the water next to us, and what is our best friend? And it's not just any water, it must be lukewarm, right? Lukewarm is a word, lukewarm, not cold water. Okay, I think, actually for me at this age, you have 2 in front of your age, I got 4. Okay, so what I'm hearing is a lot of revelation. Oh, and also, I think if I'm your age, I don't think, when I remember when I was your age, I don't think I have the kind of revelation and also the inner work that you are going through. So if you hear Dylan saying, it's a lot of the nuance of the mindset shift, like understanding yourself, knowing what you can do and treading on the journey at your own comfortable pace. And not rushing through because it's still a journey. Okay, what about the skill sets shift that
shift energy? So many of you are one-to-one, right? You can see, let's say I'm coaching myself. So today we're gonna learn. So it's like a very talking conversational style. But let's say I'm doing a classroom, right? I will be like, hey, hi everyone. So you see, there's more body language and energy, there's games. We can do a lot of things in that 2-hour session. But one-to-one is just very limited to just Q&A, like just consultation, then just explaining. So it's very private, but there's a lot of things that you can't do in a one-to-one setting versus in a group setting. So that is my biggest realization. So now I enjoy doing group a lot more. One-to-one, I feel that it's more private for me to get to know the students more. Like, hey, what's your background, what's your challenges, how's your family, how's everything. So I do that on a one-to-one setting. But when I'm delivering a class, a lecture, or teaching something new for the first time, I prefer to do in a group, in a more engaging presentation. So it's more fun. And that requires slowly, like what you mentioned, we need to experiment and upskill.
And what I caught from what you shared is the fun. Whatever you're doing, as much as it may feel uncomfortable, something very new, it must still be fun for you because it's a long game.
It must be fun, definitely.
Okay, I have one question coming from Kalin. Can you share about your personal branding journey that helped you expand your center rapidly? Okay, why they ask this about personal brand is because as much as we see math paradigm, right, equals to Dylan, or Dylan equals to math paradigm. So in the eyes of most educators or the public, right, Dylan is the star. So maybe you can share with us your journey from how you build this brand.
So I think we all know the importance of personal branding because you may be the best tutor, right, but no one knows you, then you'll be struggling. So back in 2020, I started my first IG and then slowly TikTok. I was quite thankful because at that era, there's not a lot of tutors on TikTok. So as a result, any video that I post, even now you look back, right, the 2020 videos, I was like, how can this video go viral? It doesn't make sense. But I have 50K, 60K views. It's like thousands and thousands of views because last time it's not saturated yet. So I can be doing something very simple and like ugly and raw, but it just goes viral. Versus now, because there's so many tutors on TikTok and on the content space, so you need to know how to appreciate yourself. But I started way 5 years ago, and then I think the way, this is my formula, is always to just give out value. Because at the start, if you don't have any credentials or years of experience, then you can only go in through authenticity and value. There's no other way that at this current moment that I can think of, except to just let people know and announce that, hey, I really want to help students over here, and I prepare some notes, some resources, and this can really help. And then focus on demonstrating your expertise. So meaning to say, when you scroll TikTok as a user, you know, hey, this teacher explained very well. If I'm a student, I will join this class. You will have your own opinion on different of people, right? And then you try to emulate and see, hey, why is this tutor so good? Then you start to explore and experiment for yourself. Can I try something in this manner, in this style, in this explanation? And then, like many of you, if you are studying the content space, it's all about experimentation. Then after a while, you'll find your own style, and eventually you'll build your own mini community / following. So there's no secret manual to it, but it's really true being authentic, being yourself, and constantly give value to the kids. And once you build a small little following, that will build a momentum to grow even more.
So in a sense, I hear branding starts off from the root is giving value, and then building the community as well as being authentic. I think that is easy for you because I've realized that I knew you for 3 years, and I first met you. I actually don't know you yet, but when I interact with you, I find that you are very authentic. And in fact, it's the same Dylan after so many years. Yeah. And I didn't know that you started off with TikTok 5 years ago. So actually, you are one of the pioneers.
The rest of the 5 years ago.
So I started only last year.
So you're doing quite well also. Eh? Yeah, also that one cannot escape one. Yeah, we have to put ourselves out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just ask a question, and it's more for me lah. So when you do content, right, I understand that now you don't teach, and it's more like bigger classes or workshops lah. So in terms of video creation and also social media content, what is your calendar like?
Okay, so now this is not something that is advisable because I'm not at the stage here whereby I have multiple centers, but currently I'm building more on the brand, the company's social media, and because different people will have different advice based on their story. So for me, I was a personal brand transit to a company brand. So Dylan then become Paradigm, right? So there are challenges in that because people like what you mentioned, right? If I started myself, then people will want to look for me, right? And not look for other tutors, right? So it took a while for me to transit from a personal brand to a company brand paradigm. Yeah, and now we are successfully transited. I mean, no one, I think only 1% will say, oh, I want Dylan, but then, sorry, Dylan is no longer teaching. That is, that 99% they don't ask for any specific tutors anymore. So that's a good transition.
That's wonderful.
So that's a good transition. But there are people, if you look at Zenny forever, right, they started as a company brand already from the beginning. So that they grow company. So there's pros and cons in both of the different directions. You just see which one they're more comfortable with or which one you feel aligns you more. But at that time, I started by myself first. Then, so as a result, to answer your question, now I'm focusing more on the company brand also. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there should be content being put out on our social media page. Yeah.
And do you still record the video, or because I know that some of them have their own accounts and it's their name plus Paradigm. Yeah. So maybe you can just fill us more on what is the overall strategy and actually what exactly are you doing?
So I think overall strategy, right? We must always ask ourselves what makes someone attend your classes, right? So if it is just pure results, then yes, that might work, but it's very hard to compete just on pure results because there's so many centers like 90%, 90% A, 90% A. Then how do you decide? Right? Fighting based on just pure results is important, but it's not the only factor. So that's the first one, which is credentials. Number two is based on the community and the authenticity. So that's something that we do every Monday. So if you scroll on our social media page, right, every Monday is something about fun, about students' lives, something funny, right? So Monday is something like 100 that we always do. Then after that, we have a demonstration. In my opinion, there are three important things that I always want to put up. One is our results. Second one is about the fun, the inspiring content. And then number three is the teachers demonstrating their expertise.
Okay.
There could be more, but I want to be simple. So that is the three things that we focus on.
So the fun is the vibe. Because at the end of the day, these teenagers are looking for fun. If you ask my kids, okay, I'm not sure if I should say about this because it's a common thing even among my students. The teacher's so boring, and I tune out of the teacher even though she's there for 2 hours. Then they look forward to seeing the fun tutor online in the classroom. Yeah, so I think it's about understanding parents' needs because they are the payers, they are the paymaster lah. But also, if you're serving teenagers and kids, you need to know what they want as well. What I'm hearing is also the teachers, you also need to, like Carlin, you have your teacher as well. Also, give him or her opportunity to showcase her or his teaching so that people know that he exists. Then the other one is also a result-based, which is the parents lah.
The results are, testimonials are, and all that. Yeah, so that's on the result.
Okay, keep the question coming in. Maybe now we can also talk about what some of them are asking. Dylan, I need your help. Felicia is asking about the B, I think she's meaning B group lah. So big group lah, big group. Yeah. The rest can put the questions inside. If you want to further clarify, add on under your post.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So for Felicia,
you okay, bro? Drink water. Yeah. Okay, we take it slow. We take it slow.
For secondary side, mostly quite Felicia talking map. Okay, so EMAP is quite aligned. We already have our own like syllabus. In the event that the topics are different, then our tutors will then outside of class. Or if they need extra help, then we would supplement consultations to guide them. So that's what we do. JC a little bit tougher. So if there is a problem that I think not every other center face as well. So what to overcome that is to be selective with the schools, which is something that we want to specialize in. We're working towards that. It means this is a ACJC class. This is a JC class. Or alternatively, there are clusters of JCs that are in the same curriculum. Then you want that. Because no point, you have a NJ, SA, and then a CJ, then pump all together. Then everyone learning different things is going to be very challenging. Specialize in certain schools. And in fact, it might be even better because now when you advertise, you say that this is a pure CJC class, I think you will attract that crowd even more to join you rather than being generic.
Maybe I also add in a bit on my 2 cents. But of course, if anything, please feel free to add in because I also want to value add. Yeah, okay, what traditional marketing taught us is be a generalist. But right now, actually before even this course started, I trained with Dylan and I heard the word premium. Something that probably you may want to share some light on that because I think it's very important right now, especially at the era whereby there's AI, there's so many competitors. In fact, if you ask me, tuition market is a red ocean. But it doesn't mean that we can't survive because there are few tricks that you can do it. It's go to premium. That means people are from the ocean, they only see you. Yeah. And they still come to you even though you charge a lot. Because a lot means what? You are very good. And of course, you also heard Dylan said that premium also specializing in schools. That means I only help certain group of kids from schools. Yeah, which also make him even more premium. So this is a way to go, which I think is also very scary for many people because we are taught that anyone who can pay, just take. Yeah, it's scary, but I think there's also a transition towards the premium side. Okay, back to you.
Talking about that, well, there's a lot of different direction to go just from.
In my eyes, he's a very smart guy. So looking at him, age 20 plus, when I was at age, I'm like blah one. But can you give me put a yes in the chat box if you can really see how this guy thinks, and if you cover your eyes, you won't know that this is a 20 plus year old guy. Someone who's very wise and very smart. Yeah. Okay.
Based on what you mentioned, okay, first we talk about what you must be known for something, right? Because if it's a red ocean, then you're just a generic math tutor. Then always question yourself, why should someone sign up with you? That's something that I've been thinking about since starting Paradigm, right? And then I can't find experience because I'm just a young kid, right? So I can't find credentials also. I'm just fresh out of graduation, right? So what can I fight? The only thing that I can fight at that point of time is I can fight the depth of knowing the students, right? So every student testimonials is crazy one. So if you go back, I don't know if you all will scroll back, but like 4 or 5 years ago, it's like the testimonial that you're hearing from my students is like, I give you a classic one. I was a class clown. My teacher has already given up me. And now I became a top student in Newtown Secondary School.
Wow. I mean,
that was my greatest testimonial back in 2022. And immediately after he graduated, he started his own company. It's like insane, right? It's like even when I share his story, right, I also feel so inspired by a couple of students that I teach. I was using that as an anchor of how much I can transform and help a student wherever they are, whether they're rebellious, they don't want to study, they're not motivated, right? I'm able to somehow, right, transform them to become a very bright and a role model for the students' peers. Yeah, so that is what I was anchoring on. Different centers, some of them fight welfare, right? A lot of snacks and all that. Some are welfare, some are about their experiences from MOE, etc. So different people would have different things. So you must ask yourself, what is it that makes you stand out? What makes you special? Testimonials, that was one. Another one that currently Paradigm is known for their resources. So if you look at our testimonials, and students will share that whatever that we practice will come out for the exam. If you complete this book, it's a guarantee that you'll get distinction. So these are the words that they are using that makes us stand out from the market. As a result, people are curious, what is this textbook? What are these resources? How come like so giant? Yeah, these are the few things that we work on. Some of the science teachers, they leverage on their demonstration. They have experiments, they make it very fun, use science lab or use different chemicals and also what is your thing that makes you special? Okay. Then I think another thing is something that I also believe is you attract the shadows of your past. I don't know if you have heard that concept before.
Okay, I can get it, but can you help me to make it into sound like a layman?
I don't believe in competition because I attract a certain profile of students that will generally draw into the way I teach. Another student will draw into another tutor based on the profile of that tutor. Meaning to say, I give you an example. I have a very good friend. Her backstory is she's an alien from NT, then to Express. Then she attract the students that are all alien. Like means like don't want to study. If I teach that group of students, it's very hard for me to connect with them because I don't even know anything about their life, right? Maybe from broken families, right? Or like single parent family, or like they skip school, they babe, all that. I don't know anything about that. My story is I'm just a very hardworking student that want to get straight A's. I was a student leader. I do my best in everything, in CCAs, in everything. Back then in 2020, 2021, 2022, right? All my students are president, vice president, chairman, co-chair, and they're all the bright students because that is the people that I attract. So if you give me it's not that I don't want to help. I just don't know. I can connect with them. So as a result, back then, a lot of people ask me about competition. I say that there's no competition. There's every year, there's thousands and thousands of students taking O-levels and PSLE, right? And y'all can do your calculation. Maybe you just take 50 to 60 students, right? You are very happy already, right? So then you just attract and focus on your attention on getting this group of people and you'll be more or less like comfortable and then see what's your eventual goal after that. But at the bare minimum, your first group of students will be someone that you should be able to connect and gel very well with. Yeah, and that's something that I believe. Yeah.
So in a sense, okay, I think I caught a few things now. Also, an opportunity for you to rest your throat, but it's a quick one. What I heard is also I want to make it relatable and practical for all of you here, because most of my clients is that though we are teaching primary school math or science, you still attract certain kind of profile of the students and parents. Yeah. So like for me, I'm a parent myself, very hands-on, and I always use my story of how I help my middle child who cannot do well, so I help her to pass. So I tend to attract parents who are very proactive, very hands-on, and they can relate to me how as a parent I struggle to teach my own kid and try to survive in this very competitive world. Yeah, something that all of you can go back, which is you look at your testimonials. Actually, this one will be testimonials saying that, oh, a lot of resources, services are very good. It helped me to get, all of you go back to look at resources and see what are the common, if you are not sure, put into the, is it called word cloud? Okay, then see which are the words that pop out. Because the words with the highest frequency, right, will appear to be the biggest. Yeah. Something for you to explore for the rest of us. Okay, Dylan, back to you.
Yeah. Then asking about manage different streams. So you cannot put them into one class like IP, IB, G1, G2 is all different. Ma. Yeah. So in our classes, we focus on the G2, mostly are G3. The G2 students that comes in, they usually eventually get promoted to G3. So that's the max we call. If you are able to teach all the different subjects, then you just have different classes. Maybe this IP class, this IP class. Yeah, you won't be able to put them together. It wouldn't be useful and helpful for the students also.
So the G3 students will be the G3s, the G2s will be the G2s, and the aim is to promote them to G3, then they shift the class.
Yeah. But if the G2 students aim to be promoted to G3, my belief is you can mix them with the G3 students. Because ultimately, some of you teach math, right? Actually, Sec 1, Sec 2, Sec 3, G2 content, 95% on roughly the same one. And if they learn the G3 content, they are able to do every question in their class. Yeah, so my belief is I never, as tutors, we don't want to segregate them based on their streams, right? So I see them as equal. So if I teach a new chapter from the beginning, they should all be able to follow from scratch one. Like for example, we teach numbers, I don't care whether you're G3 or G1, right? I teach from the beginning of what is numbers all about. And then I teach plus, minus, times, divide. All of us should be able to follow quite well. Yeah, so as a result, based on our past experience, I think majority all the G2 students get promoted to G3 and they feel very motivated after that. Yeah, recently, I don't know if you saw my latest post about Denzel. You can go and see my IG. Yeah, so I met him 4 years ago when he was Sec 1. He was in normal tech. Then he promoted to NE, then he promoted to... There was a year where every single WA, he got like 100%, 100%, 100%. Because what we practice in class is more than sufficient that whatever he needs, right, to do that in his school exam already. Yeah, so if you see what slides like, Dylan WA1, I got 90.20, WA2 full marks, then WA3, I get full marks again, then he just get A's all the way already. Yeah, so that is... so for 带着, we don't take in IP students in our class. Yeah, we don't take in IP. We will tell them to go to IP specialized tuition.
And I guess the thing is also because it's a business strategy, it's a decision to streamline to what you know, who you can help best, and also preparing to scale.
Yeah. So at the start, we will all be taking everyone, mama. That's a common thing. I'll take a P6, I'll teach a Sec 2, I'll teach a JC1, right? That's everyone's beginnings. But along the way, you'll find your strengths, right? So for myself, I found that I'm very strong in the upper Sec 4, right? Not just in the math area, but I'm very strong because I know in and out of their lives, and I can help them beyond the area of math. So I do DSA and early admission exercise support for all my students. And slowly that made me stand out from the market as well, because all my students, every year we have around 100 students get in through their DSA and EAE. And then we go charge it as well. That's something pro bono like to do. Yeah, so eventually if I help a P6 student that I know nothing much about like the PSLE crowd, and therefore I need a higher PSLE tutor, then they are more in tune with like that space. Around average 30.
Yeah. I really put close that stage. So they come in, are you a parent? Are you here to send your kids? Oh yes, I'm here to send like you, man. Okay.
Personally, maybe I can ask the crowd, which stage are y'all still one-to-one, have a center, have groups? So then if I were to draw into different buckets, at least for the past 1 hour, what you should think about, and based on whatever that we have been sharing just now, number one is you must be very clear what makes you special. And that's something that even I myself, I need to be thinking every day on. Because why should students sign up for Paradigm? And what makes us special? Just talk about resources, could be curriculum, could be experience, could be the way you teach, could be the method, could be welfare, right? There's 1,001 things that you can focus on, but you must be very clear and be able to articulate that. So that's something that we all must think about on a daily basis. And you will always be constantly evolving, right? Because like what I mentioned, 5 years ago is mainly based on like student transformation. But now, as the student size grow, we are unable to transform every single student from a very jala student all the way to the top student. Now it's quite impossible because of the volume that we have now. Yeah. So as a result, what is our new focus, right? So we need to be clear about that. Number two, personal branding is also very important, because if there's no identity, right, of you on the content space, then no one will know you. That is also a challenge to everyone out there, even for myself. So what we can do, practical step-by-step strategies, you must, as you use Tutor and all, you must find someone that you look up to, and a content direction or content like piece that you feel that you can create, right? Because there's 1,001 ways to create content. You can do a skit, you can teach, and draw an iPad, you can teach a question. Yeah, there's 1,001 ways. So what is something that you feel that you are aligned with and you are quite confident to do that, right? Okay. From there, focus on the internal law, because 30-40% of your students come from referrals. If you are able to double down on the students' experience, you will not be hungry, right? They will definitely be spreading about your services and your classes, right? If I were to consolidate, maybe these are the 3 big things that we can all take away from the past 40 minutes of sharing.
Yeah, let me just condense also for my own processing. Yeah, I think it's very similar to what we discussed yesterday when some of us met up. Your community is still very important. One of my philosophy is I believe in taking care of my clients, and it goes to all my clients, doesn't matter they are my coaching clients or my students. Always make sure that you take care of them first while you go and look out for more leads. I think what I'm hearing from Dylan is also the vibes, the kind of energy. I think it can narrow down to culture. The culture that you have within your company, within your clients. It sounds easy, but it's a long process now. Making sure that everyone is one. Then the other thing that I think what I like about what he said is referral. Referral is very important. You still need to double down on the customer experience. Because now, if you think about it, even me as a parent, as a consumer, if my child needs a math tuition, besides Dylan, I got so many of you all here, and I'm also in the tutors group. I don't know what to choose. Then one question that I ask my kid, who do you like most? It's not who can teach the best, it's who do you like most. So there's still this likability thing. And one thing before I pass to wrap up, and I think he wants to add in is, because you are serious in running a business context, you need to put yourself out there. The content creation is still very real. People who stop putting themselves out there may be forgotten. Yeah, unless you have other sources of leads. Yeah, as an owner, I think for Dylan himself, even though he's not teaching, he's still doing content with Dylan. Yeah, and I think doing content is you finding who you really are, which also goes back to his inner work he's done over these 5 years, and he's not pretending to be someone else. Correct me if anything that you feel that I miss out.
To convince some of you on the importance of content, you may not be teaching as good as you, but somehow they have 50, 100 students. You can go and scroll. There are a couple of them, like it's quite prominent. Just because
so many,
or because of the frequency of the content that they are putting out. Yeah, I always had the very competitive spirit when I was younger. I keep thinking if they can do it, why not? Why not me? Yeah, and that's how I slowly climb up. And then that is what I always think about. And I just want to be the best I do. Yeah, regardless whether it's personal life or whether it's in the tuition space.
Yeah, I saw you use the word people who are younger than you are. Well, like if okay, I totally get it. Actually, one story that I can share also many years ago, I gave up on TikTok and in my mind and my belief is this is for the younger people, and I totally stopped until I met my video coach. Probably you know her also. Then Joycelyn, so I give her a lot of credit, and she reignited my dream. And then she taught me a simple framework which I'm teaching the other educators also. You don't need to sing and dance, because I thought I need to. Okay. You just need to share your stories of your experience with your clients, and then of course you don't put name then you do what works for you. Yeah. And I know that some people they go on TikTok live like the full day. Do you do that? I know some of them do, but that's not my life. I got kids to take care of.
So really there's 1001 ways. Another advice, since it's just a small group of you, is look beyond TikTok. Something that I'm studying is Tutoring, because there are all the China tuition centers over there, and they are 2 to 3 years ahead of us. The things that they're putting out is still not here on our content space. So if you are to be able to be one step further, then you'll be able to stand out. And another thing is really all of us have different strengths. So you may not be the rah-rah. You look at me, right? Oh, Dylan can speak in front of camera, so the energy is very strong. But if you're not that kind, then don't go that direction. There's a lot of other ways that you can put yourself out there. But if you look at John's content and my content, it's very different. Right? John is just talking here and just talking there. Yeah, but I will watch the full thing. And because of the way, I watch the full thing, the way he described the story, right? Then it's all very captivating. Yeah, but if I were to do that style, then maybe also off. Right, so it's all of us have we got to find it.
Thanks so much. It means a lot. Yeah. So when someone says that they watch a video, it means a lot. Yeah. So just one more thing before we go off. I just want to clarify: the tutors put the video on Tutoring or learn from Tutoring and then integrate it into TikTok.
No, you will see how tutors in China or centers in China, they are branding themselves, how they build their personal brand, the way they teach, what's the editing style or the content variation and all. Yeah, you can get inspiration from there. Then after that, see what you want to apply into Singapore's context.
Okay.
Yeah, the truth is right now, it's getting saturated because everyone is just going through question. Right, you scroll, you're going through this math question, going through this math question. It's more or less getting there. So if you were to replicate that, it's very hard for you to go viral because there's 10 other pieces that's doing the same thing. Unless your character is strong enough to differentiate yourself from them. Yeah, so to be able to stand out and be one step, you must think about, or if you cannot think about it, then you follow someone else. So if you look at 2020's content and today's content is very different really, Now like Instagram, last time Instagram where got carousel, so people tell story through carousel posts. Don't have Last time it's all just camera and look good photos only. Yeah, so content is also evolving. Last time we got founder story one. It's all the founder 2-minute story. Don't have one. But it's a trend that came up 2 years ago. But now if you do a founder story right now, it may not be working as well already. Because people are desensitized to that type of content. Yeah. So you must constantly upgrade. So this is a game, as if we are all running a business, right? So we must constantly innovate and improve Yeah, in all the different realms now, from the teaching to content to operations, AI and all that, which is the fun of it. I hope you are enjoying the process as well.
Definitely, And one of the things that you all can try is controversy, but treat it with don't get backfire, Yeah, one of the things that I did in the past and it got viral was there's this kid who did well and the mom said it's not good enough. Yeah, I think probably you watch it. You go against whenever there's an experience that you sense it's unjust for the kid. It's not fair. It's not fair. It can be a story because when you feel it right, someone else could feel it as well. Okay, last one. What is a good content to put up on social media? Maybe you can give some examples and then we'll wrap up.
I can give some examples. So in the space, there are a few that I like a lot. So I don't know if mathematics. So mathematics has a very strong, attractive personality. On online. Y'all can go and scroll through her content. That's one. Then number 2, something that I'm currently I just sent to my tutor. Okay, so this is not the past and its real-time insight. I like Jia Bao. She was a GP tutor last time, but transited to become a financial advisor. Yeah, she's teaching finance stuff now, but I really like her energy. Then after which,
Sorry, Jia
Bao Insights.
Wow, I'm following her. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's Jia Bao. So May Jia Bao.
Yeah.
Then after which, I think another one, maybe not in terms of the content style, but people that are doing very well, like recently, right? Some of Daniel, like he just left his job and then started his own like private tutoring, and in 1 year he did very well. Yeah, so, and I think that's quite inspiring, like journey that we can all learn from as well. In just 1 year, he built a following in his own personal brand in a P6 PSLE science mark. I think that's something that we can all learn from as well. Yeah, so this couple of people, yeah, and then there'll be more. Yeah, so just follow and scroll. Then anything that you look like, just screenshot and then see, and then just think about, hey, how come this person did well? Is it because of the type of content? Is it because of the energy? Because of the value? Then from there you decide what you want to learn from there.
Yeah, so my takeaway from here is if you're not sure, you can see who else is doing great in the industry, and then you can model, not copy that, you model, because you completely
replicate the vibe. You want to be doing that.
Yeah, but you want to be injecting your own style because it's your personality that shines through the phone into the person's experience. Different industry, but when you watch it and you like it, how can you replicate the same thing? Let's say for Kalin, primary school science. So for Jia Bao, she's doing a lot of whiteboard and her energy is amazing. Yeah, so if you're like that, you can ask yourself, how can you replicate it, but with your own style? Yeah, and one last thing is, if you're not sure, go to your TikTok or IG and see who are you following. Those people are the ones who inspire you, then you just follow and then you see, you do for your own niche. One of the things that I want to add in before we go off is I'm looking at a lot of food photography or when they zoom into the food, so I'm trying that out. Not good results, but I enjoy doing that.
Yeah. So I think we don't have all the answers, but all the answers are out there. And as you scroll and as you see, I hope you are able to pick out things from there. Now, if not, you all can come to a group, because you are all like friends and all, right? So maybe if you don't have the discipline, you all just come together and then just share like top 5 profiles for the week. Then after that, you all can brainstorm and then think of something. Especially if you are different subjects and you can help each other also. Like for instance, like science, because I'm not doing science, but then as I look at science, I got so many ideas about science experiments that I can put out there already. Right? So it's all about learning, cross-learning from each other.
Yeah, like math to have experiments, but I'm thinking, how can you make math come alive? I'm not sure how. My daughter, or even for myself, always find it hard to see the angle of elevation, then the thing on top, right? Then must find, but then very hard to see. I must fold the paper for my girl, then she understands something that you can help me with.
True.
Okay, Dylan, thanks so much for sharing. Can we just give a round of applause to our young friend?
Thank you. Feel free to ask any questions, or let's say if you are a bit more shy, then just DM me.